Welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk episode 34, brought to you as always in association with MMA Mix. They're obviously good because they're with Obviously Fight Talk. Check them out for all your MMA needs. And again, we're back. We're in our home, the Bosom. We're back in the beautiful Whiskey Fair. So this week, a little different than most weeks. You want guests? We've got you guests. We're joined this evening on the couch by Tadgh, that's a nice, Dixon, and Stefan Patrick Bateman Moriarty. Later on in the show, we'll also be joined by Matt Bourne, who is the head of communications for Bamma. We have Aaron Blackwell and Alan Philpott on. We also will be joined by Rhys McKee. And then finally, we'll be joined, last but not least, by Darragh Kennedy. So I'm joined, as always, by #WinDecision, Mr. Rob Palin.
How's it going, man? I feel very, very close to you tonight.
Yeah,
very
well,
close.
You know, move closer and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a little different. No quick fire news, none of that. We're going to jump straight in. So, lads, welcome along to the show.
Nice to be here now.
So, Tadgh, wanted to get you in. Obviously, I've trained with you many years ago now, back in Legends. And you actually said it in your interview with Lydia Didal, where you said, I'm the oldest young man in MMA because you're only 24.
I'm only 24, but I feel a lot older.
Yeah. Wait till you hit 26, man. But yeah, so you've basically been training with Steph. Steph's been the head coach from a very young age when you started off.
Yeah, I think I was 9 or 10 or something. There was a bit of a break in between. I don't think I trained from like 12 to 15 or 16, but bar that, I've been with Steph ever since.
And again, like training out of Legends MMA in Bray. If you are local as well, you have to check it out. You're in a great new gym now as well, Steph. You've moved into just out at the Solace there, the Solace plant, isn't it, in Bray?
Yeah, that's right. No, Solace Tower Estate. Moved in there in January. Seemed to be flying. So far so good. Yeah,
I've been up there as well. It's a great setup, and it's even since I've gone up, it's got a lot more. You've opened it up more, and you've got more equipment and everything. And a huge membership, great kids classes as well.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna hopefully, we kind of had 2 phases where we kind of get different parts of the gym done. So phase 3, where are we now? September is going to be finished hopefully within the next month, and we should hopefully then have it the way we had planned out from the start.
Okay, so how I like to do it here as well is I like to go backwards before we can go forward. So obviously, Tadgh, you've had a crazy week, but I'm going to reel it back in right to the very start. Tadgh, sitting at home, probably eating a pizza.
Definitely eating a pizza.
when you were a kid, what sparked that interest? That I like this.
We're going all the way back.
People use the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and that type of thing. Like,
people always say it was Bruce Lee. I didn't even get as far as seeing Bruce Lee. It was the Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
It was them kicking and doing backflips and stuff.
Again, the weird gigantic monsters and robots.
Well, yeah. And then my primary school had a judo program.
Yeah.
I started off doing that, and I did it for, I think it was 2 years. Eventually I ended up just being lazy, not doing that anymore. My dad was working as security up in the parochial hall beside Baker's Corner, where Steph was teaching taekwondo at the time. That's how I ended up with Steph doing taekwondo, and ever since then I've been training with him, really.
And that's it, like the evolution then. You took up taekwondo when MMA came on the scene. Like, this is another way out. So what's your first memory of MMA? Like, it was there a fight that a lot of people have that euphoria moment of a fight that they seen, and from then they were just hooked?
Seeing the PlayStation 2, I think it was PlayStation 2 computer game in the unofficial PlayStation magazine. I saw that and eventually figured out that it was WWF except real.
Yeah.
And then I started looking up fights, and I think the first one I stayed up to watch the whole thing was Chuck Liddell and Rashad Evans.
Oh, right,
I think that was the first one I stayed up and bought the pay-per-view.
Because I know as well now you're a complete nerd when it comes to your MMA as well.
Yeah.
You know it inside out back. Like, I used to, when I did bother me arse going training years ago, when I'd go in, you'd have the fight broke down, you'd know everybody, you know whose sister he was sleeping with to make sure she was going to bed on time. You knew everything about her. You're a complete nerd and geek with your knowledge, like, in that sense. But you find with that, see, I'm going to roll into a good question, get ready for it. Do you find with that the detail that you'll pick up in training, like that the focus you have to put into it? Because I know the man sitting beside you is details in movement and in his approach to every fight, to every exchange is so detailed. It's like you setting up here, you know what I mean? It's like it's beyond control. Like it's he wants a fine, and even if you do it and it's like all right, he wants it perfect. So do you think that sort of your knowledge with being such a nerd in that sense? Sorry, I keep calling you a nerd.
I am a nerd.
But do you find that helped you with Steph as well, that the detail and movement and what Steph wants you to do?
Big time, yeah. I've always been I found it very easy to get obsessed with things. Like when I was a kid, I started off like in football, as most kids do, but I got to the stage where the 2002 World Cup at the time, I could name every single player in the tournament, what team they played for, what position, everything. And then when I got into MMA, it was kind of the same thing, but it was a matter of learning what's important to be obsessive about. It's not as important like who's ranked where in the top 10 and what division. It's more important if you're fighting, like when you do what, to be obsessed with that rather than kind of the stuff outside and the stuff going on in the UFC, because that's so far away from me at the moment. It's more important to be obsessed with what we're doing in training and learning everything the right way.
Okay. And just past it to correspond that question, Steph. It might sound like I was calling you a complete addict there or whatever, but I noticed that with you as well. And as well, the video that was posted up by Severe last night of Tadgh's fight, I said this to you before we started here, that your instructions, I don't know if you're aware of it, but you were almost sat beside where they were, so you could just constantly hear your instructions to Tadgh. So from the master to coach to the it must be phenomenal to have to give that advice. I'm sure you'll tell me it doesn't happen all the time, but every time you are shouting a certain instruction, like lean heavy, put your shoulder in, get your head in position, Tadgh was doing it. So again, do you find Tadgh is, in that sense, your obsession with detail apply to Tadgh as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think we kind of have that mindset in the gym as well, that our fight team is almost like a family-like environment. And we kind of know how to deal with each other, and we kind of know how to bounce off each other and what works for some people and what works for others. But like half of the stuff I was probably saying, I don't even know what I was saying, to be quite honest. Could have sounded like nonsense. But what happens is when we're training together so often, like we're training every day, it's little words and little phrases that mightn't make sense to people outside of it. Like I'm sure all coaches have this in some way, but a little phrase like, terminology mightn't be even correct, but it'll make sense to us because we're drilling it all the time in the gym. We even break it down to other fights as well, and kickboxing as well, where we have different methods of calling, different strategies and stuff like that, without getting too bogged down and worried about was it number one or number two, or if you have a certain name for it. But no, it does work. It does work well, and especially at the Tadgh's last two fights, we don't really like to go in there as such with a full game plan, because obviously anything can happen in the fight. But from now on, and even from recently, we wanted to try and apply our approach more so than in previous years. I find that particularly the last couple of months, with our approach to MMA, we've changed it slightly, and you'll know yourself now from training with us years ago. MMA is evolving, so we have to try and evolve with it as well. And our approach, even in 3 months' time in the gym, won't be the same as it is now. But it's important to have that kind of relationship with the fighters as well, that it's simple messages of instruction or whatever it may be. And once we can work together, I think then it's a good formula for success.
I think
anyway.
I think a great formula though out of Legends as well is that you touched on it there yourselves. Like you are like a family out there. Like it's a tight knit community. Like when you fought in Belfast last week, a lot of people travel up to Belfast. There's a long way to go, but it's the same when Fiacre's fighting, when Oisin's fighting, when Lisa's fighting, when Dean's fighting. There's always a huge Legend support, and he's always it's just like we eat lunch. If I go up to you, we all go eat lunch together, go grab a tea, a coffee, or whatever together, and it has that. And I'm sure that's in a lot of gyms. But it is like Legends. It is. It's a real when you walk in. At first, it's an intimidating place. Any gym is, but as soon as you open the doors, it's different. But you can just see the discipline that, and I know from working with you, like and doing it as well, and even sitting watching your knowledge and movement. Like the amount of times I've sat, because me and Steph would work a lot of shows. I'd be announcing and Steph would be chief judge at a lot of shows. and we'd be sitting there, and Steph might say something like, if he just steps off to the left here, the left hook, because there is something that could be at him, and 2 minutes later the fight's over from that exact.
Would you find it hard to turn it off while you're watching fights? As in, like, when I'm watching a fight, I only train a little bit, and I'm not a coach, but because you're so into it and you have fighters and you're always kind of critiquing what your fighters are doing, would you find it difficult watching a fight? Or not even difficult, but would you notice yourself saying, I should have done this, you should have done this? No, kind of not being able to shut up watching a fight.
Yeah, more so in my mind than verbally. There's probably some of the stuff that comes out our mouths, it won't be repeated anyway. Yeah. But no, I kind of find in my mind more so, but I try to switch off more, because as a judge, you owe it to them to basically try and be on top form, because at the same time, like, I can't be distracted by looking at their form or what they're bringing to the fight as opposed to their opponent, or looking at feedback of the fights, going, this guy's a favourite, or this guy, if he wins now, is going to get a title shot. Like, I try to ignore all that kind of stuff, because it's unfair. It has to be a blank canvas when the two of them walk in there, because otherwise you're bringing something else to the judging table, and it doesn't work that way. And I think for any judge that wants to obviously be as fair as possible and accurate as possible, that's the way to do it, is to look at it as a blank canvas. No one has a record as such, or a persona as such, or an ability as such. It's blue corner versus red corner, and that's really it. And I think that's probably the fairest way that we can go from there.
And in regards now, Seth, as well, with the new rule changes that have been implemented everywhere, and obviously, Tadgh, you were competing last night for your place and the Irish teams, which you did get. What do you think? Do you, like, I know you're involved as well with the Irish Mixed Martial Arts Association. So much easier to say. The IMMAAA,
it's a mouthful. Isn't it?
It is a mouthful and a half, yeah. But the association, Cowser always tells me to call them. You can see it now. People are getting used to it, aren't they? There's not the whole idea of the rash guard and the shin guards has sort of gone off people. But in a way, I noticed last night, Tadgh, just watching your fight, where you were in a position, you were in sort of like a half guard to step into full guard, and it was like the shin guard was nearly blocking you. Now, that could be just because I was going, is the shin guard blocking him? But the new rule changes implemented, and the point is that I think it's washed over people now. They've forgot what they're watching, and these opportunities now with IMAF and all that, it's just going to make the game go faster, isn't it, and better? As in, for the amateurs, it's going to skyrocket. Like, you're going to be fighting for Ireland now. You're representing your country in Europe. Like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. Like, a couple of years ago, that was unheard of. Anything like that, and obviously everybody could kind of say, oh, well, if I go away to America, or if I go away to Asia or something like that, I'm representing Ireland. Technically you are, but not in the same context of now. And I'll be honest, when the rule changes first came in, I was a bit iffy, because I was kind of thinking, they're more experienced amateurs like Tadgh and like probably dozens of others. It's a slight adaptation for them, because I'm so used to fighting one rule set as opposed to another, but it's very minor. Like, I'm not looking at MMA as what it was, because we can't. Like, MMA now is going to be an official sport, and we have to look at it that way. And whatever happened in the past is in the past. I don't look at MMA as what happened as a kind of a hybrid style when it first came off or anything like that. I look at MMA now, and what can be done now to make MMA more appealing to the public, more appealing for people that want to get involved and fight, make it safer, make it more spectator friendly, all these things. And what's happening now, it's brilliant, because I found that going back maybe 5-6 years ago, to put a fighter into the octagon, they'd want to be good. And not only would they want to be very good, they want to have combat experience, because it was such a huge jump from basically just training and getting in there. Because I know there obviously is differences between amateur and pro, but there were very, very little. Whereas now there seems to be a lot more of a grounded approach to an amateur. And I've been involved in a lot of other combat sports as well, and in a lot of them you'll get dozens of fights a year, and in MMA you're lucky to get 3, and it just did not make sense. So if it makes people able to compete on a regular basis, if it makes people be able to compete at the weekend and go to work or school or college, whatever it is, next day, brilliant. Okay, that's what we want, and we need that, because Ireland is phenomenal for combat sports. Like, I honestly think that we are the best in the world, and I said it a number of years ago that it was only a matter of time until people start coming here to learn combat sports, as opposed to people worried about going to Thailand for Thai boxing, or Holland for K1, or Brazil for jiu-jitsu or anything like that. So now they're going to be coming here, and they probably are already, to be honest. So our coaching level is nearly at that standard. So why not have our fighters being able to be at that standard as well? And they're there now. Like they're medaling in the Worlds, they're medaling in the Europeans, and hopefully Tadgh will be bringing one home soon as well. So you need to fight often to get good. And you need to fight in a safe environment as well to get good, because you need longevity in it. There's no point having 2 or 3 fights and being shafted. You know, you really need to be able to do this, and I think the way we are now and the way we're going forward is the right way to go.
And Tadgh, did you notice any differences in there with the shin guards and the rash guard? Like, I think that maybe it's more friction, so there'd be probably more difficult to kind of scramble out positions. But did you notice anything?
To be honest, I really thought I would. Now the fight the week before was basically the old C class rules, just without knees to the head. That was a bit of a difference because I could feel myself a couple of times watching out for the knee to the head, and then remembering it's not allowed and being able to put my head back down there. So that was a little bit different. But apart from that, the only difference I really felt was that you could kick without worrying about your shin. That's all. Even catching the kicks and things like that. With the new IMAF shin guards, they still slip out just as easy as a leg would. So that's the only difference I noticed. The rash guard, I pretty much always train in one anyway, so I'm used to that. People who don't know me, I'm probably the sweatiest man in the country.
And I wouldn't mind. Last week, I turned around. It was such a moment, you know. For me, it was a great moment to announce you as a champion. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It was great. And the fact that, as I was saying, that's a nice, you were screaming, that's a nice as well. That was deadly.
Well, but come up with that.
Just after he had done it, I'm wearing a grey suit now, let it be wear. He comes up and gives me the biggest man hug you could possibly, and I'm looking at him going, you fucking bastard. Like I had the main event to go.
And then you had to burn the suit after.
It dissolved. I didn't have to take it off. It dissolved.
I'd say it looked like Rocky at the top of the steps in his grey tracksuit.
And I'm there going, fuck, man. But to bring you into that, let's talk about the belt and that fight. You're fighting Jeff Hall, who's anyone who knows their MMA, especially up north as well. Jeff's well known, Jeff the Hummer Hall. And it was quite funny because I hope you don't take offence to this, Tadgh, but I've noticed from training with you, when you're in training, you could put anybody in the training room and you'll make a mess of them. But sometimes when you get into the cage or the ring, because you compete in boxing, kickboxing, sometimes the trigger doesn't go for you. And that was the one thing I was saying was I hope tonight is the night that, you know, the fucking switch is gone and Tadgh comes in. And when he came running out to the cage, the way he came out, I was like, yeah, Tadgh looks proper fucking up for this. And the fight started, before the fight, I'm in commentary about him going, now Tadgh's a long fighter, you know, he's big long limbs, you know, we said he's a bit like Dal Simpson, Street Fighter here now, you know. And I gone on about how long he is. He'll use his distance and all. And the first thing he does is they get a fucking beautiful change of levels and takes Jeff down. But talk us through the fight, like when you obviously were fighting for the belt coming in. Jeff, well, now just talk us through the fight, preparation going into it, and being in there, because great the setup up in Clan Wars. I'm sure you agree, it's a great setup. It's probably one of the most professionally run shows in the country, and has been north and south for a long time. The fight itself, I felt great the whole day, to be honest, coming out to it, and then walking out, as you said, I was able to get myself focused, and I tend to always kind of know as I'm walking through the tunnel backstage whether or not I'm going to be focused by the time I get to the cage. And the last couple of times, it's just everything's been there. So I got out, got into the cage, ready to go, waiting for him to walk out, and then Steph had his usual couple of words with me, basically telling me, don't screw up or I'm going to kill you. In the Bateman way.
Yeah, in a nice, calm, threatening way.
Yeah.
But
I'll return some videotapes.
Jeff came out and that still felt good. I think it was the first round, he caught me nearly straight away with a right hand, giving me a bit of a shiner, but I was actually happy he caught me that early, because then all the anxiety over, because I know he hits like an absolute dump truck. He's got a few knockouts on his record. Once he had hit me once, I kind of knew I could take that power. So then I felt comfortable enough to step in, close the distance, and go ahead with the game plan that Steph laid out. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks before. We've been working it non-stop. Because I've been on weight the whole time as well, so that wasn't a concern either.
And there was a neck crank. It was in the second round, was it? You got Jesus. It nearly looks like The Exorcist. He nearly got his head around the opposite way, like. Yeah. But was that ever close, or was it
no,
just uncomfortable?
I dropped down for we were actually 2 weeks before I actually asked Steph what to do if that situation came up. And I wasn't able to do my counter to it because it happened that quickly, but my arm was stuck behind his leg and I ended up turning my head the right way round, and I just had to go with it. If I hadn't gone with it, I'd probably be in trouble now. With a bit of a neck brace on and wouldn't have been fighting the week after, but I just let myself go with it. Ended up in Mount, and even there I was still kind of comfortable enough. I knew I could recover. I knew I wasn't in any serious danger. So I felt okay even with that. And the next day my neck was fine. I must be made of rubber or something like that.
Big time. Yeah. So then the third round came. You got him down and sunk in the rear naked choke. And just when you got that little, and you knew that was it. Your first belt, I'm right in saying, MMA.
Anything.
Yeah. So the first belt, and you could see it. A lot of photographers caught the moment there. But you didn't have any time to go home and get your big Domino's order in. You were straight into training because you were fighting last night on Battle Zone 16.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So for the IMAF qualifiers, and you went 3 rounds last night and you got the decision. And it was 3 rounds of dominance, really, wasn't it? It was fantastic groundwork again. Looked like you had the Kimura at one stage. You were going to sit up and reach the Kimura, but
I think that was right at the 10-second clapper. I think I locked the grip up for it. So I was just trying to get something. I wanted to go for the finish right until the very end. So
landed a nice kick as well. Was that in the second round? Was it?
Nice head kick.
Was the last round, I think.
Yeah.
Nice head kick. Going into the last round, the main advice from the corner was to up the amount of kicks on the feet, up the amount of punches on the ground. That's what I did. And I felt like if it was able to go a bit longer, I'd have a good chance of going for a finish. But unfortunately for me, Dermot's very, very tough guy.
Yeah. So what is next? What is the next? Is it the Euros? That's is that November? Is it? And that's next on the list. Is it just trying up for that? And what's the format on that? Is it's over in Czech, and is it just your weight class? How many fighters are in it? You could have 4 or 5 fights over the week. Is it?
As far as I know, yeah.
Just like the Worlds, like.
Yeah, it should be the same format as that.
Have you ever done anything like that?
No. I've done. I did taekwondo tournaments when I was a kid, but that's
different. Yeah,
completely different. That's like kids martial arts as compared to like a European Championship at senior level is completely different. So it'd be a new experience, but sure, fighting MMA twice in 1 week was a new experience and it paid off for me. So hopefully I can learn from this and go on to the next one and be successful there as well.
I suppose for both, what changes do you think you might have to make going into that? Because it's obviously a good few fights in a small period of time. You're obviously going to be looking for quick finishes if possible, but do you think there'll be any changes in what your training would be like compared to an actual camp?
Very slight. With every fight we usually take, we always try to take something from it, positive of course, and negatively to try and reconstruct what we need to do. And the last 2 fights, even since last Sunday, there was a few things that we worked on during the week and we corrected it already on Saturday. There's a few things we noticed there without nitpicking, but we have to because obviously we're looking for the real deal when we get in there.
Yeah.
And there's a few little things that we're going to work on. We don't really, we're not the type of club that likes to go on and say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We just let it happen in there, and obviously just that kind of let nature take its course, for want of a better word. But there's a few things that we're going to work on with Tadgh. I think we've got 10 weeks, so a few little things standing up, a few little things in between, a few little things on the ground, but very little, just kind of minor little tweaks just to try and get the finished article, because I found a huge improvement in 6 days between fight number 1 with Jeff and fight number 2 with Dermot. And even though we didn't get to finish last night, that wasn't an issue. Okay, I think it was there a couple of times, which is obvious. It's going to happen in any fight. There's going to be opportunities there, but I've seen a lot more composure from Tadgh last night, and really relaxed, calm Tadgh in positions where was a bit of a threat from Dermot, because he was trying to offer a bit as well, and there was never an issue about the fight. I did think that
it was one of the most solid 30-27s I've seen in a long time. It was complete dominance around.
Even though obviously you will take the opportunities if they arise, we were happy to hold positions and obviously just gain the momentum to get the finish at the end, and that's what happened. So
congratulations, 2 fights in a week and 2 W's, and one's a belt and one's a ticket to Czech Republic, so it hasn't been a bad week.
Sure. I'd be happy even just with the 2 wins, or
Yeah.
even a win and a draw. I'd be happy enough. The belt and the ticket over to the Euros is the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Will the Dominoes come tonight?
Yeah,
then?
what did you get from Domino's?
I got one earlier on. I might get one more before I go back into proper training. Just to
And was it like an
just so I
all
can
the
say
meat
it is.
special? Was it with garlic bread and?
no, just a large double decadence, you know.
Just a large one.
Didn't go with the chicken strippers or anything like that.
That's
Well,
dedication. That is dedication. Yeah.
As you were saying earlier, the way I can show up sometimes and not really perform. I think the difference this time is now I'm mature. When I started, I made my debut in MMA, I was 16 or 17, and I was already fighting fully grown men.
Yeah.
So I started off as a kid. Now I'm mature. I'm ready for basically anyone, I feel like.
Well, if it's a compliment to you, when we were leaving Clan Wars last week, Jeff Hall met me at the fight. Just saying see you later, and he says fuck me, your boy is one strong motherfucker. He said now he's a sweaty bastard. That's exactly what he said. He said he's a sweaty bastard.
Yeah.
He says but he's a strong motherfucker. He says he'll go where he wants. So that's Jeff said that to me after but now as he said that he had women just telling him down no, he was and as a compliment, you know what I mean, when an opponent speaks so highly of you as well. And I seen Jeff said it to you on Facebook as well today. He tagged you as well. I seen that as well.
Jeff, he is and always has been one of the top guys in and out of the cage in Irish MMA, professional or amateur.
Still owes me a beer from Cowboy Cerrone beating Felder. I think it was Felder.
Hopefully you understand. He wanted to go for a pint with me after the fight, and I didn't get a chance to explain why I couldn't go for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully he understands why I couldn't go for a pint 5 days before that last
Yeah.
fight. So.
What we're going to do, lads, as well, is we're going to stick Steph down to the end of the room, and we're going to do our Mr. and Mrs. game. So this is Fighter and the coach. We're going to have a few questions for Tadgh. Tadgh's going to answer them. You're going to have to come back and see, can you guess the answers, right?
Yeah.
Right, so here we go with your Mr. and Mrs. Coach versus coach and the
We
fighter
didn't
game.
steal this. Definitely
Didn't steal this whatsoever. Right, so you just have to answer it. We see the Steph get it, right? So, first easy one for you, really. Who is your favourite fighter of all time?
All time, Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell.
Taking them down?
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell.
We might have gave this away in the last minute, but what's your favourite type of pizza?
Hawaiian.
A Hawaiian,
Oh, so
and you
you
didn't
didn't
get
give it
one last night.
Mm.
What was the best performance of your career?
It'd actually be a toss up between the last 2. I'll go with Jeff just because the finish.
Yeah, I
Just
like
'cause I
it.
got the finish.
Yeah, I wasn't at last night's one, but I watched it. But I like last night was a dominance, do you know what I mean? It was a great dominant performance. But like you said, I think the finish put the bow on the parcel, if you know what I mean.
Just like level of opposition and finish, and that it was the way class up from
And in their
where I
backyard
was
as well,
fighting it,
that also helps as well.
And also, it was. I don't know, it was the second night, but I lost the first time fighting in
Up in against
Clan Wars
Magic
in the same
Garowski,
hotel.
wasn't it?
Revenge.
Yeah, in the same hotel.
Same hotel, same
way,
cage. They
so-
turned it around the cage, though. It wasn't
Yeah.
the same way.
And then that was the same for Battlezone actually as well.
Yeah. So, similar question, opposite though. What was the worst performance of your career?
Rumble in Rush. I forget what number it was, but it was welterweight against Ian Thorne.
Oh
Just-
yeah. I remember that fight.
We coming up to it, that day nothing was going my way, and the fight kind of showed that as well. Didn't take much damage, didn't give much damage, nothing really happened. It was just a stinker.
Yeah. Happens. You're alright. You've got a belt there now, pal. Yeah, don't hang in it too long. So, if you were a video game character, who would you
Ooh.
be?
This Steph's never gonna.
You're going to say, I thought the way you went, he's going to say Lara Croft, isn't he? Steph will say Sonic the Hedgehog or something.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to go with someone not that obscure. That's
Like Mario or something.
No. Solid Snake.
Solid Snake.
Oh, it's a
Metal
good
Gear
choice.
Solid, yeah.
Not
it-
Big Boss.
Solid Snake. If MMA disappeared and you had to compete in another martial art, what would it be?
Grappling.
Grappling. So we'll go BJ. We'll accept BJJ. Or
And
grappling.
well, some form
Alright.
of grappling.
Grappling.
So, what's your least favourite drill in the gym?
Last one.
Ooh, with respect to a guest who'll be on later, burpees.
Burpees.
Darragh Kennedy's
Darragh Kennedy.
burpees.
All right. Right, come on, you can come back. So the idea in this, Steph, is we just asked Tadgh a load of questions. So you have to guess what Tadgh said, basically.
Right.
So, number 1. Who's his favourite fighter of all time?
All time.
Come back to me that one.
Oh, come back to make Steph make
Can
his
say
own
yes.
rules. I'm not going to see the way he looks at you. You don't disagree with him. Okay, boss. Yeah, no problem. What's his favourite type of pizza?
You asked me this the other day.
I did, yeah.
I should know this one.
Something to do with decadence or something like that, was it? Or
That's part of it, but think of
Just
Oh, it hints
Hawaiian,
me.
is it?
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Big clue there. Ding! So what was his best performance of his career? Now you see, I'm gonna add, before this, right? We had Wally and Donkey and all, right? The lads gave their answers,
imagine
right?
that one.
The lads gave their answers, and then Wally gave their answer. Go, "Yous are fucking ticks." That wasn't your best performance, and he then slated them. They go, "All right, Wally." It was deadly. It's deadly. So Tadgh's best performance.
Tadgh's best performance from Tadgh's point of view is Man of War. First round armbar win.
It wasn't. That was a good performance. And that was your profile picture for a long time as well. Me interviewing you as well. That was the.
What did he say? Or do we get the answers at the end?
Yeah, we'll give you the answers at the end. So that was a no. So what was the worst performance of his career? I know there's like only one or two you could think of here. So
Well, the one I would say, because I would say Tadgh had his own motives that day, was Clan Wars, not the last one, the one beforehand.
against Magic.
That's the one, yeah.
Wrong.
No disrespect. to
Yeah,
his
no,
opponent, of
yeah,
course,
no.
but
He went with a different one there. So you mightn't get this one now, but if he was a video game character, so if he was a PlayStation character or Xbox, who would he
someone
be?
out of Star Wars or something. The robot.
We had a feeling you wouldn't get this one now because he went fuck. Yeah. If MMA disappeared and he had to compete in another martial art, what would he compete in?
Jiu-Jitsu.
Ooh, on the head.
Good shout.
Bing. So what's his least favourite drill in the gym?
Conditioning.
I suppose it falls
Could
under
be,
that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
He nailed it. He's
we go with
Darragh
that.
Kennedy's burpees.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So
Yeah.
that's one. So to go back up the list, his favourite fighter of all time, you said, come back to me.
Pride or UFC?
Technically both.
Mm.
Is he on the wall?
Is he?
Yes, he is. He is on the wall. EBUs can't see him over there, can you?
He's on the wall twice.
He's on the wall a bit, yeah.
Not Chocolate L, is it?
Oh,
there we
Chocolate
go.
L, yeah. So Chocolate L is right, one.
Yeah.
Favourite pizza, Hawaii was right, boom. His
Yeah.
best fight for his career, he said Jeff Hall. Where it was after his last performance in Clan Wars, the pedigree of fighter he beat and getting the finish. He tossed it between this week's win, last night's win, and the week before in Clan Wars, and he just felt because he got to win the submission, he'd give that.
My answer's better.
The worst performance of his career was in Rumble and Rush
Ian Thorne.
in Thorne.
Yeah.
So you had the answer there as well. A video game character was Solid Snake
What?
from Metal Gear Solid. If MMA disappeared, Jiu-Jitsu, and his favourite drill, conditioning, boom. So he
10
actually
10 out
got...
of 10, yeah.
Yeah, they went 6 out of 7, but like, was it 6 out of 7?
5.
5 out of 7.
Video
yeah.
game
You
and-
should give me a
and-
different one instead of that.
5 out of 7, yeah.
Not
No,
bad.
that's alright, that's
It was better
alright.
than Wally though.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
better.
Wally was terrible,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wally was bad.
So, look, give your a plug, give a shout out to Legends MMA, get people telling them where you are, everything you got.
Yeah, as Tadgh said in his infamous interview, 7 days a week, we're in Sulis Tower Estate in Bray. We teach kids from 4 years to, how would we phrase this one, to
What age is Brian?
senior citizens.
Yeah.
And everybody in between. We've classes designed for fighters. We've classes designed for people who just want to stay fit, people who just have an interest in martial arts. We do grappling classes, we do MMA classes, we do kickboxing classes, we do a boxing program, we do almost anything that
amazing
falls
talent
in
there as
that
well. Like the young Oisin and
category.
Figure
Yeah.
and Lisa.
We've
fantastic.
we've a
quality
few that are
caliber.
coming through there that we hopefully will make big noise in the next while. So yeah, there's a few going to the World Championship in October in kickboxing. So
That's in Italy, isn't it?
Italy. So we have that in October. We have 3 of our members, Lisa, Ushi and Figure in that, and then a month later Tadgh then in the European Championship. So if
And-
all goes to plan, hopefully we'll have 4 medals.
4 world champions.
Well,
You
European.
three and European.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you there. We'll jump there.
Yeah.
Now, before you go, I do have to say as well. If I had a magic lamp and I could give it a rub and I was given a wish, and if it had to be an MMA wish, I wish that Man of War would return. Fantastic show, and of course you've legacy to kickboxing show as well.
He just wants another job.
That's
all
another
it
job.
is.
Yeah.
But no, Man of War, bring it back. Rub the genie lamp, bring it back.
Okay.
Lads, absolute honour having you in. I know it's a bit of a short stint we have you in tonight, but we'll have you on again when you come
Definitely.
back with your European medal. When you come back with world champions, we'll have you in. We'll bring everyone in. We might even do it live from Legends.
Brilliant.
But lads, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Cheers, lads.
Thanks, Al.
best of luck and well done over the last week. Well done.
Thanks very much. Hard work.
So, ladies and gentlemen, delighted to say we're now joined by the head of communications of Bamma, the one and only Mr. Matt Bourne. So, Matt, welcome along to obviously Fight Talk, and thanks very much for taking the time out of your Sunday evening to join us.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, I'm just in the middle of beginning my sleep cut week. While fighters are weight cutting, I'm actually depriving myself of sleep because by the time we get to Dublin, I'm not sleeping all weekend. So
Yeah, I can vouch for that because when I see you on the fight day, you run around like a madman and you don't stop. When I'm going home saying I'm going for points, you're still running around like a madman. So I can certainly vouch for that. So, man, let's dive into it. This is Bamma's third show. Originally was scheduled to come in June, but this is the third show here in Dublin. I'm expecting a huge turnout as usual. Again, Bamma has delivered a spectacular card. Although he's had been hit with some injuries through the card, it's still. I think we're looking at it in and around the 15 to 17 to 18 fights on the card. So a well stacked card again.
yeah, it's interesting actually. It's one of those fight cards. The more you look at it, the better it gets. It's very strange because when I first saw it, I was like, okay, but now I'm looking at it, I'm going. Actually, every single fight is a blockbuster. To be perfectly honest.
Do you think that the delay obviously was an enforced delay that you had to do with the new rules and stuff? Do you think that actually kind of helped create a better card in a way?
It helped and it hindered. I mean, obviously, health for the fighters is paramount. I mean, that was obviously our first and foremost thing, regardless of financial implications for the company and stuff like that. The fighters came first. I mean, they always did. We've always had high medical standards anyway. Obviously, the situation that happened caused us just to push the bar up just that little bit more. But you just couldn't implement that it would have been a matter of something like 3 weeks. It just wasn't physically possible, feasible, logistically. So, and it's been a learning curve for us as well as the fighters because, obviously it's new processes for us as well. Because we're not only just doing this in Ireland, we're going to be doing it in the UK and every single show that we do beyond that. So we've sort of learned. I mean, Jude Samuel, our matchmaker, is now probably the UK's foremost expert on MRI and MRA examinations because he's literally learnt it line by line exactly what it is, where everything would go. So it was positive in that respect, but it set us back a bit because it's sort of knocked out our summit because we could have put in an extra couple of shows before this one, so it's kind of knocked back our schedule a little bit. But I'd rather be safe with fighters than take any risks at the end of the day.
And again, like looking at the card, what I love about what you've got to do when you come over, man, like your early card just had the likes of your Dylan Tooks, your Rhys McKees, that I know them because I work the regional circuit here, but they've all of a sudden become known in Europe due to the highlight reel knockouts and stuff that they've had. And again, you're doing that same idea. You have the local guys on, the likes of your Ben Forsyth, who's a Ballybrack boy from where I'm from as well. But you've guys on the cards that Bamma. Let's be honest, like it's the biggest show in Europe. Let's not not pretend.
Let's not mince words here.
So you're giving them the platform to showcase their skills, and you can see like Rhys McKee now has gone 3-0, and Rhys is fighting Tommy McCaffrey. We've Rhys on later on the show as well, and like for me, he is an absolute golden child. Like I just think that he's going to do whatever he wants in MMA. He's already with the title vacated by Mark Diakiese as well. Rhys is certainly eyeing that prospect up. We know that as well. But I just, in a way, this isn't a question. It's more of a saying well done for giving the platform to these local guys, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Rhys. It's his birthday on Saturday. He's fighting on his birthday.
Nice.
Interesting side note: it's my birthday on Sunday. So
That's
so anybody wants to bring me cards and presents, I won't say no. That's fine. You can do that. Just walk up and throw it at me, whatever. But yeah, Rhys has been one of the the standout guys from since we came to Ireland, and Dylan obviously. I mean, Dylan actually currently holds the records. We run during the show. We run replay clips on social media. So sort of snippets of what happened in the fight. He actually holds the record for the most amount of views on a single night. It's 250,000 views on fight night in the space of about an hour. You got 250,000 views, which is insane.
Wow.
So. Yeah, I mean, and you sort of, I find myself looking down the card and going, right, well, who's going to be the new star on this one? And I think the one that everybody's talking to me about and hasn't stopped talking about is Ryan Curtis, Chaos Curtis. So I'm looking forward to this, and Joe McColgan as well. Joe McColgan, I think people are taking. Obviously, I'm impartial, but I think people are taking quiet bets on Joe McColgan against Queally, which is, it's very interesting. I mean, you've only got to look at Rhys McKee as the prototype for the, everybody's going, oh, well, Joe McColgan's only 1-0. Well, Rhys McKee was a debut when he took on John Redmond. And look what happened there. Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. I'm aside from the main card, I'm just excited. I love coming. Event weeks are great for me. Apart from all the stress.
Well, we'd have an added interest. Well, I say we, Rob and Carl, who's normally one of the other hosts here with us. They're both from the same area as Ryan Curtis, so they went to school together and stuff. So they know well about Ryan, and Ryan certainly is one. He's competed a lot over in the UK on Shinobi and Ice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his first fight, his first pro fight in Ireland.
Yeah, I was really that's a nice thing from them for us as well, having Ryan there.
Yeah, and I did notice in one of your interviews with one of the lads over here talking broads, you did mention that if the first event was successful, you'd be thinking about coming back, or Bamma would be thinking about coming back 2 or 3 times a year. Is that still the plan in Ireland? Like, has it been successful enough to come back 2 or 3 times?
Absolutely, we wouldn't have come back if it wasn't successful, if I'm brutally honest. No, I mean, the island shows have exceeded our expectations. We had our own plans. We thought, we'll come out here, do a couple of thousand, and we'll sort of pool along. Well, the last show did just under 6,000, so tripled what we thought we would do. This show is pretty much in the same region, even with unfortunately losing the main event, which was the one that everybody wanted to see. It just means that's another excuse to come back, hopefully before the end of the year, but I can't promise anything just yet because I'm not the man who signs the ticket on that one. So
as much as we did lose the main event, we've also in its replacement we've got an absolute barn burner of a main event. Like John Phillips, I watched John over in Birmingham when we were the IMAFs in the Bamma exhibition, and he was hitting pads, and I nearly hugged the man who came out from holding the pads, asking him, is he okay? Like I don't know why they call him the White Mike Tyson. But it's just, and then you look at Devant's last destruction of Bourne here in Bamma. Like, I didn't see that coming. Like, the greatest respect, I just didn't see that happening. Like, that result. So this, for me, this fight again, it's just an amazing. It's a don't blink. It's sit there like with your eyes like that, like watching the fight just in case. Like, it's a phenomenal main event.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was originally our co-main. I mean, John Phillips is just something else. He's an absolute juggernaut with those fists. And Andy Devent's been around a while. I think people have sort of slept on Andy. I mean, he is actually our Lonsdale middleweight champion, and he's taken out Conor Cook. He's taken out various people along the way. And this fight, I don't. A lot of people see, Phillips is just going to knock Devent out. I don't think it's that straightforward. I think if Devent, because he fought Czech Kone, and he was doing all right in that fight. At the beginning of the fight, he was weathering Kone's shots. Now, I'm sure Phillips hits harder, but if Andy can weather the initial storm, I think it's an interesting fight. Because if Devent takes it to the ground, then we're going to have to see if Phillips working with the SBG boys has paid off for him.
And again, just moving down the card as well, we've your Bamma debut for Paul Redmond, who's taken on Stringer in it's lower down in the card, but it's a big fight. I know there was a couple of opponent change there as well.
It's actually main card now because of the amount of pullouts we've had. It's actually fourth on the bill, so yeah, it's main card.
But Reds are making his debut. The last time you were over, of course, I got in the cage with Paul and just we done a quick interview for the crowd. So this has been an anticipated debut. Obviously, Paul's well known on the European market scene as well, but obviously he went to the UFC, so he was on the world scene. So this is a highly anticipated debut as well.
Yeah, we're attracting the best fighters in Europe. I think Paul had a bit of a rough ride in his time in the UFC, and hopefully he can set that right in Bamma, and see where it takes him.
And what's the start time of this card? There's a lot of fights on the card. What would the start time be?
Generally, the doors open around about 4:00, and then we try and get the early fights going fairly quickly. So about 10 past, 4:15. It depends. Usually, because Noel's still fixing his hair, we have to wait till about 20 past, half past.
I am Adida.
Yeah, and then of course we have Mr. Moverheady, one of the best referees in Europe. He takes his time as well, and I have to give him some abuse. So
he has me combing his beard.
We're usually going by about 20 past. Yeah.
So just again, just to shout out to the people to hype it up. Like, this card is from top to bottom. You've got the Dave Fodey as well. Is opening the card this time. He should be. I say he should be. That's the wrong word. Yeah. He's normally behind the lens at Bamma. He's the Bamma official photographer here in Ireland, but he's stepping into the cage. So that again is an interesting debut as well for Mr. Fogarty.
Yeah, I did suggest he takes the camera with him and just take pictures while he's fighting, but I don't think it'll work. I think he might end up with a broken camera. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be. It's actually. I think it's going to be quite strange for him as well. Yeah. Because obviously he's not going to be doing the photos, so it's going to be very kind of strange for him. But yeah, it's Dave in the amateur ranks seems to have quite a bit of momentum behind him as well. I've seen he's just been announced for the Republic of Ireland's IMAF team for Europe as well. So, he's a busy lad. Who knows? He could be debuting pro on Bamma.
Definitely. His jiu-jitsu was phenomenal as well. But he works with Owen Roddy as well in the striking. So, do you know what I mean? Like, Dave is legit. And he's a hell of a nice guy too. Yeah. So that's just
as well, we'll have to ask, because there'll be people asking us why we didn't. Belfast.
Yeah,
Belfast is on the cards. It's a matter of sorting out when it's best to come. I mean, funnily enough, and I can tell you this, we were planning to be there in November. Then a certain American organisation trumped us, so we had to put it back. So it will happen.
We were screaming that in this show for a long time. We were matchmakers here. I don't know if Jude was listening to us, but we were matchmakers on this show for a long time, calling out fights and calling out cities and everything.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah.
So again, you're not promising nothing, but Bamma in the future. What's the next show after Dublin? What's next in the pipeline for Bamma?
Bamma 27. I can't tell you the date or the venue, but needless to say, it will be announced. We're hoping maybe this week, but it's soon. That's all I can say at the moment.
No exclusive, man. I'm disappointed.
I can't give you the exclusive because it's more than my job's worth, really. It's one of those things. I can tell you, but then, I'd have to fly over to Dublin and take all this footage away from you.
So breaking news, Bamma 27 is happening.
Yeah.
Bamma 27 is definitely
It's going to be after Bamma 26 and before Bamma 28.
Bamma 28, yeah.
That's impressive. Well, look, Matt, I'm looking forward to seeing.
And it's also happening this year.
Oh, definitely happening this year. Okay, that's good.
Take that.
So thanks for taking the time. I look forward to see you when we're over this week. We'll nerd out and talk movies. As he is a big nerd as well. I know did your opinion change at Ghostbusters, by the way?
What?
The new one.
No.
You were like me. I had the same opinion of it on social media. You just went a little deep on it. But
it's not the worst film I've seen this year, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's top 3, but it's not the worst.
And how did you find Suicide Squad?
I actually quite liked it. I can't see what all the fuss is about. I don't know why people are, ragging on it. It wasn't that. I mean, you compare it to Batman versus Superman, it's Oscar-worthy material. I quite liked it. I liked its vibe. I liked its look. It's not a perfect film, but it was all centered around Margot and Will Smith, I thought they were perfect. So, I quite enjoyed it. But to answer your question, the worst film of this year is The Neon Demon. Absolutely terrible.
Not bad.
Film.
Have you not seen this?
haven't
This
seen
must
that
be
one.
the one move. Rob literally puts pictures up either in. Well, he doesn't always put in the gym. In fairness, you don't do that. But he's either a selfie with the missus or a picture screen in the cinema.
Yeah.
That's normally Rob's phone. Like,
I haven't seen that one, so I'll probably give that one a miss. Yeah.
Don't. It's done by the director of Drive.
So it's real arty farty type stuff.
Yeah. Awful.
We'll leave that one.
But
this could be a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
It's just
It
Scott
could be.
moves.
It's
So
an
look,
entirely different podcast.
listen, we'll let you get back to exhausting yourself of no sleep for your training camp to get over to us. We'll toast on Saturday evening to celebrate, I hope.
Absolutely.
And
I'll see you Thursday at the press conference.
I'm actually on work, so I'm going to have to try to swing that off.
You're not going to pull a sickie or anything.
No, I don't know. This will be out, so I can't say. So listen, worst case, we'll see you Saturday, and thanks for taking the time.
Sure.
And by all means, tune in, because we're going to be joined now by Alan Philpott and Aaron Blackwell. So that'll be up. You'll give that a listen tomorrow.
Absolutely. No, I wouldn't want to miss it. I'm just going to go and put my tin hat on, because I think those two are going to be throwing shots at. Oh, dearie me. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much. Listen,
Cheers,
Matt,
man.
thanks for the time.
Cheers.
No worries. See you
Good
later.
night.
guys.
Take care, man. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk. We're now joined by the Lonsdale champion, Mr. Alan the Apprentice Philpott, and his opponent for Saturday evening. We're joined by Aaron Blackwell. So this is the probably one of the most anticipated fights on the card. So Alan, I'm just gonna. I was reading up on the fight, and basically you were saying that Aaron isn't deserving of this title bout, and what's your thought process behind that? Is in you felt he wasn't worthy of this?
Like, what's he done? He's been pro for 13 years, and he's done nothing at all. Like, who is he?
And Aaron, what's your response to that?
I've done more than him than he's done in the last 5 minutes.
And again, when you look at it there, just to back up, like Aaron there is at the moment on a 7-fight win streak. So that is quite a win streak in it. But I know you have questioned the caliber of who he's fought as well, Alan, in that win streak.
Yeah, like it's obvious. Like look at the wins and look at the losses from them other guys. Like those last two fights have like 3 wins between them. No, he's a can crusher. Like I say, 13 years he's been in the game pro, and no one knew who he was. He gets matched with me, and all of a sudden he gets a bit of attention.
Yeah, it's funny, Alan, because I'm probably the most exciting thing to happen in your entire career, mate.
Come on ahead, lad.
And again, there has been plenty of back and forth on social media as well. Some of it not the nicest, I think, is the easiest way to say it, or respectful. But again, I know when fighters fight, they talk a lot of trash, and in the end of the day, when they step in the cage with one another, that all gets squashed. So how do we both feel? As in, separately we'll ask Aaron, you first. I'll start with you. Just leading up to this fight, you've obviously seen Alan fight quite regularly now as well, on the Bamma stage as well as worldwide as well. Is there something that you can see like a weakness in the game that you're going to try exploit on Saturday evening?
With me.
Yeah, you know, Alan makes me laugh, really. Old Teapot. He's quite a fake kid, you know. His whole team's quite fake. You know, he's a boy, really. He hasn't even really got into manhood yet. I mean, there's not much love lost between us. That, you know, no one really cares about that, I suppose. But it keeps it exciting. But from my point of view, you know, I don't really have much respect for the kid. I have respect for what he's done, but not really for him personally. You know, I kind of feel like next Saturday I'm going to be fathering him into manhood. I don't really feel like his balls have even dropped yet, let alone he's had the capacity to fight me yet.
And they're pretty big words. Like, again, you're coming into this, you are the champion here, so you're only a little boy and he's going to fire you into manhood. What do you think of that?
Oh man, it's hilarious. Like, he's fake. No, that's pathetic. Everything he says.
Is that what you got? Is that, man? You can't even articulate your words properly, boy.
What's that?
I think you need to. You can't even articulate your words properly, boy. Have you been punched in the ears too many times? You're punch drunk today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, is that what you got to say? You know, this is a podcast, right? You're supposed to actually speak.
I do what I want, lad.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure you do. That's probably what half your mistakes have been made. Do what you want. Keep doing what you want.
Yours will be on Saturday. Yours will be on Saturday, boy.
Did you just stutter?
You've never fought anybody in the
that?
same league as me. No.
Is that all you can say?
You've never fought
I'm
anyone.
not in the same league as you. You haven't put together a finish in your last 10 fights, and you're talking about not being in the same league as you. You got choked out in 2 minutes in your last fight.
I'd be a high caliber fighter.
High
Something
caliber.
you couldn't do.
Every
Something
time you get to
would
high
never
caliber,
do.
you choke, boy.
Joke boy.
Yeah. Are you going to start replicating what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your intelligence levels are dropping by the second. I think every time you get punched in the head, you lose
I'm
an
not
IQ
smart.
point.
I don't need to be smart, lad. But I'm a smart fighter, and that's one thing you'll not be able to deal with at all.
I don't think you are a smart fighter, my friend. I think you get punched in the face too often. That's why you can't think of anything to say on a podcast.
Watch my face. Hardly anybody touches me.
Hardly anybody touches you. I don't know. Nathaniel Wood lit you up a few times. I think Ed Arthur touched you so much he choked you out. I think the last guy thought you touched you so much.
They didn't even touch me once.
Does that not count as touching when someone's got their arm around your neck and putting you to
On
sleep?
the feet, then. On the feet, I'm talking punches.
You're adjusting your words now.
No,
You're
you
adjusting
were
yours.
talking about punches. We were talking about punches here.
No, we weren't. We was talking about touching. Do you know the English language? Do you know what the difference
You
mean?
said punch drunk. You said punch drunk.
I said
which
you're
means
punch
punches.
drunk. I wasn't talking about punches.
And I
There's two
said no
different
one
things.
touches me with their hands.
Yeah, but we was talking about touching. Anyway, that's beside the point.
To rein it in there, boys.
You get touched. You get touched a lot in your fights.
Look how desperate you are. You're pathetic, mate. You're about 40 years of age and you've never achieved anything in your life.
Well, it shows you haven't done your
shot.
homework, because that's
You finally got
10
one
years.
shot. You what?
I said, shows you haven't done your homework.
What?
You don't even know my age.
And where do you think
sorry.
you would have the advantage in the cage for both of you? Like, Alan, where would you think you have the advantage over?
Anywhere, mate. Anywhere.
Anyway,
There's
he
not
doesn't
a
know
place-
where.
There's not a
He has
place
no
that
idea
all
where he's
the
going to beat
people
me.
touch No.
He's got no
If there's
idea
the
where he's
pressure,
going
he's
to
going
beat
to
me.
flap. He's going to flap. He's going to try stupid kicks that won't work.
And what about you, Aaron?
He admires his work. He throws a kick and looks at it as if he's some Bruce Lee shit or something. Come on, head halfing kicks don't land.
I think you're scared of my kicks. That's why you're talking about them. Nice for giving me a bit of insight, though. Thanks.
And where do you think you have the advantage yourself, Aaron?
You know what? I'm quite happy with, as with Philpott. I know he likes to go everywhere. I'm quite happy to strike with him, take it to the floor. I'll out-wrestle him. I'll out-strike him. I'm faster than him, stronger than him, fitter than him. Wherever it goes, he's gonna start flagging. He's talking about me flagging. I've seen the guy get, as it goes to the second and third round, he starts to choke. Even at the end of the first, the kid starts to choke. I'm worried about him, to be honest. I'm worried about him getting seriously hurt in this fight.
And again, Alan, I know you spoke highly as well, especially after Tom Ducamaw's last win as well. You were saying you wanted a shot at Tom Ducamaw. I was talking to you in Birmingham, and you were saying you want that title shot to unify the belts as well. So, in a way, are you almost looking past Aaron in this fight where you have said, you don't think he's deserving to the shot? So, is there a risk factor there of underestimating what Aaron's going to bring to the cage on Saturday?
Of course he's looking past me. He's underestimating me.
I'm not looking past him at all. I just know I'm going to smoke him in the first round. Like, it's not even just saying.
How are you going to do that? You haven't smoked anyone in the first round in the last 10 fights. How are you going to do it? Tell me how you're going to do that.
You'll see that.
Is that what you've got to say?
You'll not be able to deal with anything I've got, lad. Lad, you'll not be able to deal with anything I've got. I'm too fast for you. I'll ping you in the feet, take you down. I'll make you quit. You'll break. I guarantee you break, lad.
You won't. You're literally not going to be able to touch me. You're talking about breaking me, but you can't beat anyone in the first round.
Come on, head. Well, because you beat a couple of guys with one win. Good man. Well done, lad. You're doing well. 13 years. You're not too far.
When was the last time you fought anyone of UFC caliber? Look back through my record and see the guys that I've fought.
Exactly, and what happened?
Yeah,
anybody
10 years
can fight
ago.
them, lad. Anybody can fight them. Now you're not making sense because it wasn't the UFC caliber when you fought them.
Well, they are in the UFC now, so they are UFC caliber.
Oh, come on. You don't
I
even
don't think
know
you
what
understand
you're
the English
saying.
dictionary.
That's what you're getting, lad. You're starting to confuse yourself.
And what about Aaron as well? Are you looking forward to coming and stepping into the Dublin arena, the Point Depot, the 3 arena here in Dublin? Are you looking forward to that centre stage, if you like? Because by the time you two guys step into the cage, there's probably going to be in around 5,500 to 6,000 people roaring you on there. So is that something that's excites you to fight on such a platform?
Yeah, of course, it's exciting. It's for me, I'm half Irish as well, so I'm coming home. A lot of my family are coming back from Waterville to come and watch me. So yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great arena. I think it's going to be a good place, good spectacle to showcase my skills.
And Tom Duquesnoy was brought up there. I'm sure both of you think you're going to win. I'm sure you have said that already. Is that the fight that both of you want if this fight is victorious? Tom Duquesnoy to unify the titles?
Anybody wants. No, he's the biggest prospect in Europe. You can't take it away from him. No, but I went over him does big things for anybody. He wants me and I want him.
That was what said all night.
So we agree on something. Do we have an agreement between Alan Philpott and Aaron Blackwell that Tom Duquesnoy is legitimately the number one prospect, and if obviously both of you aren't going to be victorious, but whoever is victorious, that's the fight you both want, is Tom Duquesnoy?
Yeah, you'd be stupid not to win that fight.
So you said in your last interview that he was shit and all this and he has no power and run them down to the ground. So why are you backtracking now?
I just said you'd be stupid not to have that fight. It's got nothing to do with backtracking. You need to really start your IQ level.
He says what I said was 100% the probably smartest thing I said all night. But I was saying how good he was and how he's the biggest prospect, and now you're sitting there backtracking.
I said the smartest thing. Didn't necessarily say it was correct, did I?
You did what I said. Was the smartest thing.
Do you think you match
up
well
with a 5-year-old? I think you just repeat everything you say just because you can't think of the next thing to speak about.
And do you think you match up well with Tom Duquesnoy, Aaron?
Yeah, do you want to go and tell your mum to sort out a connection, Philpott? You're in your mum's house, right?
Nah.
We keep losing you. You keep stuttering. Go and tell mum to pay the bill on the broadband.
So I'm here, lad. It's just moving. You're the one disappearing.
Right, gentlemen, let's wrap it up with your predictions. So, Alan Philpott, champion, was going to go first. Your prediction Saturday night. What happens, how and when?
TKO or submission in the first round. We'll say maybe late in the first round. I'll play about waiting for a bit first and mash that wee pea head up. Make him quit. Watch him break.
And same question then to you, Aaron. How do you see it going?
Dinosaur.
I'm going to beat him up so bad he's going to feel like he was in a game of Cluedo. He's going to be asking who was it and when did he beat me, what did he beat me with. There's no chance he's going to beat me.
Never beat anybody up in your life.
What was that? Did you repeat yourself again?
You've never beat anybody in your life. Oh, there's another one.
Third time.
One more time. It's mathematician, you can count that.
Well, lads, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the two of you stepping into the cage on Saturday night. Best of luck to both of you, the best of skill to both of you. Thanks for taking the time this evening to talk to us. And like I said, best of skill to both of you, and hopefully by the end of it you will give the respectful handshake, as I'm sure you will. But it's a fight I'm looking forward to see.
Respect somebody for that, lad.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, lads. Good night. Take care. Delighted to say we are joined by Rhys McKee, who's fighting on Saturday night against Tom McCaffrey in Bamma 26 in the 3 Arena. Originally scheduled for UXC, this bout fell through, but now we're getting to see Rhys back under the bright lights in Dublin again. So Rhys, welcome along and welcome back to Obviously Fight Talk.
Yeah, second time on. Thanks for having me again, guys.
And just as we touched on there, Rhys, obviously you were scheduled to fight Tom a while ago. So has this been an advantage, getting to know your opponent for that much longer? Now I know you would have known McCaffrey quite a lot. You know his history, the kickboxer, world champion. That you know a lot about him. But do you feel this gave you more time for preparation for this one opponent?
Well, yeah, I suppose it did. I've had 2 full camps for Tommy, I guess. But I wouldn't say it's more of an advantage than I would have had the first time. I've just went away and got another fight under my belt, so maybe that's an advantage. I've been maybe had a chance to get another fight in, but as for knowing more about Tommy this time, no, I wouldn't say. Just I'm well prepared again.
And people would think because Tommy's, well-regarded kickboxer, they think, takedown, that's what's going to happen, or that's what the game plan is. Is that necessarily the game plan, or are you looking to exchange as well with him?
I'm going to do what I want to do, but I do want to strike. It will be, I can see it being a striking fight. last time going into the fight UFC, I maybe had the wrong attitude where I kind of, everybody said it was going to be a striking fight, so it was only going to be a striking fight. Like, if I see an opening for a double leg, I'm going to take it, as I'm sure Tommy will. Do you know what I mean? I think maybe last time I was going in with the attitude of like, I need to outstrike the striker, but I'm the striker, he's the striker, we're going to strike, but I'm sure it's an MMA fight at the end of the day, you know. I'm not going to say, if I see an open for a title, I'm going to blank it out, because I won't.
And do you think you'd have a big advantage on the ground?
Yeah, I think I have an advantage in both areas, but yeah, I just think I have an all-around advantage, to be honest. But on the ground, I'm a challenge for anyone, really.
And we were speaking before, earlier on in the show, Rhys, we were talking to Matt Bourne from Bamma, and we were basically talking about the first time they came over here, that they were giving young guys the opportunity to fight in such a big stage, and both yourself and Dylan Tugh really stole the limelight that night. Then they returned and you stole the limelight once again with that highlight knockout over Alex Mizuku as well. So this is your third time stepping into the Bamma cage, and again, I know we spoke previously about your weight class division. The belt has been vacated now. So this is what you see? This is going to be 3-0 for Rhys McKee and Bamma. I want a shot at the gold.
Why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, I can't see why that wouldn't make perfect sense. Like, everybody else seems to think it makes perfect sense. I do. So, you know, maybe if I fight someone who's previously fought for it, like Kian Musa, or I don't really know the other guys, to be honest, but one of them, like, it makes sense, you know. I think I could be all over that gold belt, you know. I think it would look well.
And again, just in regards to training, we spoke about this before as well with Bamma, but coming in here to Bamma, like, there's so many next gen lads on the card, so these are all training to peak at the one time. That must be a huge advantage in a fight camp as well.
Big time, we're all bouncing off each other. We got Andy going to become the world champ, Philpott going to defend his belt, we got Mark getting back in the win streak, and then Glenn and John Redmond, like, that just added so much crack to the camp, you know. You can always do videos, you always hear. Sometimes you think John Redmond's in the gym with Glenn running about doing his act. So, okay, it's absolutely perfect. Like, everybody bouncing off each other, and as you said, peaking at the right time. You know, like Saturday was all our last rounds there. It was a good hard day sparring. Everybody just tearing away, like. And
was that Glenn's idea to do those videos, or where did that come from?
Well, it definitely wasn't mine. I've got some people think I'm maybe fueling it, but I'm really not. Glenn's great crack, you know. Glenn's one of the best guys, you know, so he's always joking away and doing something. We were down in Dublin for the MRIs, and he's hanging out the window of the car 1 minute and banging people in the toilet asking, do they know where John Redmond is? So Glenn's good crack.
But again, now just to bring it into the Bamma again. So you're fighting on Saturday. What's the plan then, Rhys? Is it, you know, because we do know, we don't want to, you know, it's a little unfair on Bamma. I think a lot of fighters use it as a little bit of a stepping stone to say it. But there's a certain organisation that has 3 letters that has landed on your doorstep in November. Is it too soon, or a big performance, make a phone call gets made?
Well, any fight I've had in my career, people have said it's too soon, so why is this too soon, you know? I see if I get past Tommy, a good strong finish, good performance. I don't think it's too soon. Like, it makes perfect sense. 20 minutes up the road, I'll be there, no problems. Like I said, every fight's been too soon. John Redmond was too soon. Mizuki hit too hard. Do you know what I mean? It's always been a reason why not, but I think now people are going to find reasons why it is and why it should happen, you know. I can't see why not.
Your last performance as well, though, is when you look at the Redmond fight and the Mizuki fight, you got these knockout highlight reels, but your last fight you had to come through a little bit of adversity. It was a tough first round, and you came out and you got it finished early in the second round with granted, but it showed the other side of the Rhys McKee that digs deep, not just the highlight guy, you know. And, like, don't get me wrong, it's amazing to see the highlight, but it's also great to see a fighter almost like you could say McGregor when he fought Diaz recently. He was always seen as the highlight guy, the big knockouts, but he showed resilience and dug deep. Now, it wasn't that much for you. It was one round. It was a tough, hard round, but you came out and you got it done. So that was a great side for me watching you fight, was to see that as well, and it showed a different side of you as well.
Yeah, also for me, you know, like Masuku fight was great. The Redmond fight was great. It was like all one-sided as such, but that experience of being against it, being in the hometown of the other guy, having people shout horrible things at you, and then, you know, like not going my way in the first round, like it really showed me what I'm about. But that's the fights I want. I don't want the fights where I'm in there coming out just like haven't been in a fight. You know, I like it. Like, I like people bringing the pace, putting the pressure on, and really having to like ask myself how bad I want this here, because that's when I shine. You know, under that pressure, under that there, on the back foot as such. That's where I like to be.
No, again, and Rhys, again, it's only, again, it's short. We're putting you under time, so sorry for keeping you late. We wish you the best of luck on Saturday night. We'd love to have you in again. We keep saying it when you are down here. Drop in. We'll have you in studio. It's a lot easier when you're in studio, so we can have a bit of crack as well. But as I say to all the fighters that we've been speaking to tonight, the best of skill to you, and I can't wait to watch you fight. I love watching you fight. I always feel like I'm watching the future. I'm watching something grow. So I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing you fight again on Saturday night. For
sure, no. Hopefully you're doing MC. Don't know if you'll be doing mine, but we'll
I don't know. I think you're climbing too high up the ladder on that card now.
I think I'm 11th out of 17 or so, or 12th out of 17.
Yeah. I'll just trip Buddy up. I won't let Buddy. I'll just take the mic off Buddy Johnson and go in and do it.
I'll just climb over the fence and we'll do
fist bump. Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll not miss it.
Well, listen, best of skill, my man, and look forward to it. And we, I don't know if you will be after. We'll have a toast after.
100% birthday toast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday knockout. That'd be the way to go. I'll talk to you on Saturday night, and hopefully I'll see you in there. All right.
Cheers.
Thanks for taking the time, Rhys. Cheers.
Bye.
Good night. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and we're now delighted to be joined by Darragh Kennedy, the one, the only, the myth, the legend, the Jaffa Cake eater, Darragh Kennedy.
No.
Welcome,
I
Darragh.
want sponsorship. Do I get sponsorship by Jacobs for this? Do I?
I swear to God, you should be sponsored by Jaffa Cakes. They're missing a trick. If you were every time I walk into a room at any show, there's never any Jaffa Cakes left.
You see, I don't understand why I get the blame for that now.
Your own team does it. You weren't.
Okay.
Did you see? I put up a vlog the other day, right? And I went over to to all you guys, right, Kokoro, right? I went over and I said, "Where's Darragh?" Okay. And I won't give away names because I'm not a hangman. Said, I think he's in the other changing room robbing their Jaffa Cakes.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah. I call that networking. No, you know what I mean? That's not Jaffa Cake robbing, that's just networking.
While eating Jaffa Cakes.
Smart business decision.
Yes, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? 2 birds, 1 stone, sort of crack.
So let's get to the real business. Saturday night, you're fighting in the Tree Arena.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
And I don't mean in the car park either. You're actually in there, in the cage, wearing your shorts and all.
Yeah. Wearing shorts and all, yeah.
But come here, we're officially allowed to say that you're taking on Johnny Dargan in a heavyweight bout.
Yeah.
So it's a big fight.
No weight cut.
That's why you're eating all the Jaffa Cakes. No weight cut.
Yeah, no weight.
So it's a big fight, Darragh. So it must for you. Like, you know what I mean. You're in the game a long time as well. I'm sure you don't mind me saying that. You're a head coach out in Kokoro. You're well known in MMA here. So it's like about fucking time, if you excuse the French, that you're on the card of this magnitude. Now, in saying that, you had a very big fight up in UXC as well.
I did, but again, now you know I do it for the fun.
Yeah,
I don't. You know what I mean? At this point in my life, I'm not getting the UFC. I know that for a fact. Too old for that shit. Needs to give up for that crap.
I sound like I'm in an episode of fucking with Mel Gibson and fucking what's that movie called?
Hang on. Considering you did introduce me as the Jaffa Cake eater, okay, I don't think that'd be.
I'm going to introduce you that on Saturday night. I'm going to call you Darragh the Jaffa Cake eater Kennedy in the Tree Arena on Saturday.
You know something? Yes, yeah. I'm gonna see can I get brown and orange shorts. It'll be good.
Yeah. No, just get like, I don't know, off like a teenage girl. Just get like Sally Hansen suntan and just spray herself orange like, and you'd be just one big Jaffa Cake.
Jaffa Cake.
This interview was taking a seriously bad twist and turn.
Not at all, not at all. Like every other conversation we've ever had, no, but hell never.
But now let's pretend to get serious for a few minutes. So you're fighting Johnny Darragh. Johnny Darragh's a well-known striking coach of the notorious Conor McGregor. Johnny fought on not the last Bamma, the previous Bamma, the first Bamma, Bamma 22. Yeah. He's also fought headlined the likes of Battle Zone and stuff like that. He's headline cards. You have headlines a lot of cards. But Darragh, just in respect, when was your top of my head? I can't remember. When was your last MMA bout?
My last MMA bout. About a year ago, I think. At this point, would have been a while back.
Because I know you compete regularly, like K1s, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of K1s. But again, sort of when you're bouncing around with 6 or 7 lads on shows, it's enough to keep you sharp in the gym. It's enough to get you to want to do it again now, you know. Yeah,
and again, like when I heard you got this fight, I was delighted because I was like, you know, you're deserving of it. And it almost sounds like he deserves it, but no, you do. You work out. You're well known. You Kokoro. You're at every show. Your fighters are at every show. He's had a very successful. Well, it was a mix with good wins last week. Like Alex won. Yeah. You know, you had a good weekend last week up in Clan Wars, and you're there. Yeah. You're on the scene everywhere. So I was delighted when I seen you get the fight, and it's a good fight, and it is a good fight. And like, to be kind, you're saying you're too old for that shit. Like, so what is that? Lethal Weapon. That's the movie I'm thinking. Danny Glover getting too old for this shit, Riggs. But to be kind to your opponent is up there in the numbers too.
Yeah, well, see, I don't know. Maybe he's kind of, you know, Danny Glover in the third film or something. I'm only Danny Glover in the first one.
Yeah.
Could be, you know, a way.
So you're sitting on the toilet with a bomb underneath it, and he's like...
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have put it that way. You know what I mean? Maybe I'd be the one kind of pulling the gun out of Riggs' hand, whereas he's just going, oh, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, pretty much, okay. We'll go with the bomb one.
But let's again try and rein in and be serious here for once. This will be the first time this has happened with me and you being serious. Big fight. What's the game plan coming in here? Do you have a game plan? Do you go Pacific for an opponent, or do you just get in there as you say you have fun?
Not specifically. To be totally honest, like he's a striking coach. On my background is striking. K1 for years, so pretty much I can see there's 2 ways this is going to go. It's either going to turn into a stand-up, just bashing the head of each other, or one of us is going to shoot and it's going to end up on the ground and the 2 of us looking at each other and going, I don't want to be down here. You know? So I
make a gentleman's agreement, let's stand back up, like.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We'll do one of these things. We go, listen, if we get a 30-second clacker, we just stand up and do it again. It'll be grand. Yeah, you know, have a little chat while we're there on the ground, hugging each other, going, oh, no, don't like it down here.
I'm getting too over this shit.
Yeah. One of us is going to say it. One of us has to say it.
Yeah. In the interview after, when you're getting interviewed after, you just say it'd be brilliant.
It'd be great, yeah.
While eating a Jaffa cake.
Oh, yes.
That's your trick. One of the lads in your corner is going to have to bring a box of Jaffa cakes.
No, my plan is to have them between the rounds. Water and a Jaffa cake.
Fuel.
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Actually,
I'd have to look it up in the rule book. I would not imagine there's a no Jaffa cakes in the corner in between.
Not specifically, anyway. Definitely not specifically.
I might fall under the no food allowed, probably, but I don't know.
Yeah. Might fall under the, you know, sponsorships, because maybe Jacobs to give out, so you'd have to have kind of fake Jaffa cakes.
Yeah, that's true. Little Jaffa cakes.
You know, you need to wonder about it.
Yeah, I can't believe we said we'll get Darragh on. We'll talk about the fight. We've given the fight all of 2 seconds. But again, Darragh, for you, like as a dub, the 3 arena, the Point Depot. Let's call it fucking what it is. The Point Depot. It must be.
It is the Point Depot. It's always going to be the Point Depot, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Big time. But like again, to walk out in front of your own people, the dubs in the Point.
Yeah.
Does it make your belly fizz? Does it when you think about it, or?
It makes me belly fizz. Does that sound really, really wrong? No.
Yeah, it does sound wrong. I'm trying to word it really wrong.
Yeah, kind of. Does it make me excited? Yes. Am I gonna poo my pants? Probably. But when I get in there, it'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be great. It'd be fun.
And come here, what preparation have you done up to this? Because we had Tadgh Dixon on earlier with Steph, and he said the worst drill he hated was your burpees in the training room.
Burpees? No, frog jumps. Be great. It's... What preparation do we do? I don't know. I call it fun. Tadgh was giving out about it. I don't understand why. You know, kind of all the rest of the lads were looking at Tadgh and going like, "What's wrong with you?" But
many people have said that
sentence. I messaged him straight after this and say, "Tadgh, by the way, please don't watch this." But no, it's kind of like I said, like you said, 6 lads on last week. It's hard to explain when you're sitting there and you're thinking of a shit to make 6 lads get to the point where you think they're going to vomit, and then kind of just say, no, maybe not, lads, kind of take it off the mat before you do that. It kind of it'll get you fit, put it like that. Keep you sharp.
And what's the plans after? Are you going to look, if everything goes according to plan Saturday night, you get the victory, what's next for Darragh Kennedy?
Keeping my options open now. That's what I'm going to say.
Special guest on the podcast. That's what it is. A weekly special Jaffa Cake update.
I want a weekly slot now, okay? And we will talk the intricacies of Jaffa Cake eating. As in, which way should you eat them?
Do you reckon if we got the real Jaffa Cakes and the cheap ones and put them like in a line, you'd be able to tell which one's the real one?
No. See, that's a dodgy question. That is, because that's all down to personal preference. Depends who you ask. Now,
you've took that question the most serious question in a lot.
That's the hardest question I've had to answer. No, you know that, don't you?
Now, come here. If there was Jaffa Cake, I'm only messing. Now, come here. Look, listen. We won't keep you up all hours because you're probably going to be craving Jaffa Cakes now. But listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you in there. I think it's a great fight. It's an intriguing fight, and I think it's going to be real, almost like a throwback in MMA style. Like what you were saying, you two are strikers predominantly. If it goes to the ground, you're about going to go, what are we doing? Well, let's stand up. But it's a great fight, and I wish you the best of luck and the best of skill, and hopefully I hear your name called. That's no disrespect to Johnny. Johnny's a lovely bloke as well and a great fighter. But I just have my preference. I like you and I know you years, and I meet you all the time, and you're a big bastard and you beat me up.
Yeah, but now.
Well, now
it'll be fun.
I'm going to cut you off because you said when you come on the podcast you're going to call me out, and you haven't done that yet. So tough fucking shit.
Not yet. No. I see. I'm thinking maybe I should wait till after,
and then go on Twitter
Saturday. You know what I mean?
Get a hashtag.
You know what I mean? You just walk over and kind of stun on me or something in the middle of the ring. No.
RDK, is that what it's called? An RDK, is that right?
RKO.
Yeah.
RKO.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch wrestling. It's for girls.
I don't know. Wrestling, what's that? That's all that hugging and rolling and stuff.
Listen, it's been quite fun because we had Alan and Aaron on giving another debt before, so this was quite a light-hearted interview. But I know, don't be fooled by your light-heartedness here on this. You are a great personality outside of it, but you're a killer in there when you get in as well. So best of skills, me man, on Saturday night. Thanks for taking the time to come on.
Not a problem, lads. Thanks very much for having me on. Okay.
And
this is superstars.
This is technically our second appearance because they interviewed you. So this is technically our second appearance.
Yeah. But that was. But hang on. I still haven't got the win. You still haven't held my hand up. So I'm kind of wondering now. You're just doing this to make me feel better or something.
No, I'm giving you a boost. I'll take credit for it on Saturday night if you get the W. It's the obviously fight talk effect. And if you lose, we just won't mention it. But you're not going to lose.
No, you're getting the first high five, okay?
Boom.
But, you have to do a heel kick, and look completely gay in the middle of the cage.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well, after the thing you sent me today when I said I love you sent me a big thing, just went, gay! Yeah, we'll fag it up. No.
Oh, God, yeah.
We'll edit that. Yeah. But listen, go to bed, get a sleep, have some sleep, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Sure. Oh, God.
Cheers, man.
Okay.
Good night. Take care.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Okay.
So there you have it, folks. We went a little wayward with Darragh. Great interview.
Probably can't see us. I don't think they can see us.
But here we're here. Don't be fooled by Darragh's kind-hearted soul and stuff.
Yeah.
He absolutely hits like a truck. He's just an absolute personality. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to be coming at you midweek with the usual, the likes of our quick-fire news, a little bit of news. I know Dan Overhead, he wants to break down a few decisions and a few referee actions from UFC Hamburg. So we'll be breaking that down. We'll be giving you our fight picks. Probably recording that on Wednesday night, I imagine, so it'll be available on Thursday.
The Madman might be back on Wednesday.
Mr. Carl Crazy Doran will be back. We miss you, Carl. But
this was a crazy one, wasn't it?
This was a crazy one. Darragh brought a little bit of crazy.
Yeah, this was a crazy.
But thanks as always to MMA Mix. They're obviously good because they're with obviously Fight Talk. Check them out for all your MMA needs. The Whiskey Fair, we'd like to thank Tadgh and Steph for coming in earlier on the couch. We'd like to thank Alan Philpott, Aaron Blackwell, Rhys McKee, Darragh Kennedy and Matt Bourne. You want guests? You fucking got guests.